Hello, hello, hello. My name's Sam and you're watching So Let's Sparkle with Sam. So if you have watched before, then welcome back, and if you're new, then you are very welcome here. So I'm hoping that this is actually going to be a Friday sews. I've been a little bit absent. It's been a little while since my last vlog. I do try to keep to one a week, but life just gets in the way sometimes, and then I just think, oh, you know, what have I done, what have I got to say? And then other times I think, oh, I've got a lot to say. So I'm sorry if I don't commit to a day, but I'll try and be here as much as I can, and I hope you enjoy watching me talk about my sewing journey. And if you do, if you'd like to like and subscribe, I'd much appreciate it. So my subscribers are going up. I'm really excited about it. I have made the decision not to monetize my channel. I don't want anyone to have to sit through adverts for me, but I have set up a Ko-fi account, so if you do want to support my channel, you can do it that way, and all the details will be in the box below. So what have I been up to? I think probably the first thing that I need to talk about is the challenges from last month. So frugal. I managed to get 4 entries done in the end, which I was quite proud about. And I'm not wearing an entry, but I am actually wearing a free pattern top. Now this one didn't quite get made in time, but I thought I'd wear it and show you anyway. So if you've watched a video of mine a few weeks ago, I got a lovely haul of jersey fabric from Simple Life Fabrics, from Sarah at Simple Life Fabrics. Thank you, Sarah. I love them. And this one, I think I called it Pretend Camouflage jersey. I'll put a better photo of me wearing it up there so you can see it. And if you can see behind me, this is a top, the same pattern. And as you can see, I've changed the pattern, changed the neckline, because I made that in the early days of my sewing when I wasn't quite sure of my size or how I wanted things to fit, or how I could even make things fit better. I just kind of went with, oh yes, that looks like my measurements, you know, cut that out. Whereas now I've kind of realised I can look at a pattern, I can look at pattern pieces and think, yeah, that might say a 34 bust and I'm a 38 bust, but that's, you know, with the amount of ease that's in the pattern, that's going to fit me and that's going to be right for the material. Sorry, I'm chuntering on. So yeah, so I have changed a pattern. It's called the Emma blouse. It's a very old free pattern that I've had for ages and ages, and it's called Dressmaking with Tiana. Now I'm wondering whether it's an early days Tiana's Closet, because I know those are all free patterns. So it might be that, but I will put the link of where I found this one for free. I made this in a small, and it says for the small it's a 34 bust, 26 waist and 36 hip. That is not me. This one I made in a large, which were much closer to my measurements, but it was just too big. So yeah, so lesson learned. So this is the Emma blouse. It's in this lovely camouflage fabric, and I really love it. So that's what I'm wearing today. So yes, so frugal. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm So Let's Sparkle with Sam on Instagram as well. I made 4 items. I'm going to start with my favourite. I haven't got any of the makes here with me, so I'll just pop the pictures up for you to see. The first one, definitely my favourite, is the VERA top by Forget Me Not Patterns. And I love, love, love this top. And I think I've made 4 now. I love the cuff option with the long kind of cuff. It gives me kind of a bit of Star Trek uniform vibes in a good way. Yeah, which I really, really love. And also I changed the neckline on that one. One thing I will say about the Forget Me Not patterns is the instructions are brilliant. Those of you that know me know that I'm fairly new to dressmaking, so instructions are really important to me. They need to be nice and clear. I'm very happy to go off and, you know, find YouTube, ask friends, ring up, you know, find other ways, but the instructions, it helps if they are nice and clear. And on the original one, there's a V-neck option and then a scoop neck option. And I've made the V-neck option, and not for this one, but I have made the V-neck option, and it was the first V-neck I have ever done, and it just turned out perfectly first time, and that had not been my experience with other things, with other patterns, so I was very impressed with that. But yeah, just basically all round really lovely pattern. I did put an extra waistband on it, and I did make it a little bit longer because my plan is to wear it to work with leggings, or just to wear it as secret pajamas with jogging bottoms, because it's just so comfortable. It's literally the most comfortable top, apart from my Freyas. It's definitely, you know, just comfy cozy, and because it's a bit voluminous, because it's got the bigger sleeves, you kind of get air in it, so it feels nice and warm. So yeah, so that was my first So Frugal entry. And oh, I forgot to say, so yes, I hacked the neck on it. I didn't tell you what I hacked it with. So I used a tutorial from YouTube from the lovely Jane at the Sending You Love Jane at the Dressmaker's Closet. She did a little turtleneck kind of hack top, how to make a turtleneck, to measure it from pattern, and I watched that, and so I popped the turtleneck into the VERA, which worked really, really well. So thank you for that, and I will definitely use that turtleneck hack again because I do love a high neck. So the second thing I made, which I will show you up here, and as you can see, I'm not wearing this, and the reason I'm not wearing it is that I'm worried that it will be indecent if I pop out of it. This for me just didn't work. I've seen other people that have made it successfully. They have had issues with it as well that I've seen. So I think it might just be a little bit of my naivety, my newness into dressmaking, that I just didn't get this right. So it's the NOMI ruffle top from Tiana's Closet. I did, like other people, initially kind of have some few problems with printing out the pattern, because I quickly realised that all of the lines were exactly the same. You had a cutting line, you had a seam allowance line, and they were all exactly the same colour. There was no dotted lines, there were no colour differentiation or anything like that. So I did straight away go, oh, there must be some kind of layered document. And so I did find out how to do that and get that printed off. But as soon as I printed it off, I should have listened to my spidey sewing senses. As soon as I printed it off, I looked at it and thought, my boobs are not going to fit that top. There was just something about the pattern that I just thought it didn't look quite right. The darts didn't look quite right in the right place for me. The sleeve just looked a bit shy, and I was like, I'm not sure. And at that point I should have stopped, gone back, printed out a size bigger and kind of had a look at it. But because it was quite a difficult one to print out, I was just lazy. I was a lazy sewist, and I thought, oh no, it'll be fine, it'll be okay. The measure, it says, you know, that's for my measurements, so so I didn't listen to myself, which was silly. So I went for it. I sewed it up. I took it to Karen's Sew Along. I've got some little footage of me sewing it. It was a lovely sew, actually. I did really enjoy sewing it. Came together nice and quickly. But when I put it on, just across this area was just so tight that if I sat like this, I'd be fine. But if I lifted my arms up, even this high, never mind high-fiving anyone, I was worried that we would have explosions. So yeah, that was a bit of a fail, but you know, you live and you learn. And I am going to pass it on to somebody else, and they will enjoy it. So you know, nothing lost, lesson learned. So that was the NOMI ruffle top. The next one that I entered, which I will show you up here. Oh, excuse me, itchy nose. The next one that I entered was the SABINA skirt, and that was from the Little Pomegranate. Now, I have to say, I've seen a lot of these. When I've watched other people's on vlogs, I've seen lots of people talk about this one. And I'm not really a big skirty person, although I think I might be now. Yeah, I've never really been in my youth into skirts. I've always been dresses and jeans, and that's kind of what I've lived in. But I really liked it, and I've loved it, loved watching it on other people, and thought, you know what, I'm going to give that a go. I'm so glad I did, for two reasons. It's another free pattern in my arsenal. It's an elasticated waist, so it's a really easy fit. So I'm thinking for gifts, it would be a really nice one to sew for other people, because I think it will be really forgiving in the fit. So if you know roughly what size someone is, you can do that. And then obviously, you know, if you, after you gift it, you could always say, well, if it's not quite fit, I'll change the elastic for you, and you know, whatever. So I thought that would be a really good one to kind of have a practice at, and also can be adapted fairly easily. Obviously you can make the ruffle bigger, smaller, you know, you can put 2 or 3 ruffles on if you want, and just make it look very different. But yeah, it has to be probably the easiest garment construction wise, with the exception to this one, because this one was very easy. But yeah, probably one of the, definitely the easiest skirt I've ever made. The instructions were superb. They were so easy to follow, came together really nicely, really quickly, really easily, and it just, as soon as I'd made it, it fit. It was perfect. So yeah, so that was a really nice one. Well, I made that one with some fabric that I'd initially earmarked for the Lyra shirt dress, but when I'd measured it, I didn't actually have enough for the Lyra shirt dress. So I made the SABINA skirt, and I've got a little bit left over, not a great deal left over. And I was thinking of, now this is a woven, this Emma blouse is a woven material, and it's a, no, sorry, it's a knit. It's not woven at all. It's a jersey, it's a knit, and the pattern says knit. However, what I think I might do is I might size up a size and use the woven fabric, and still do the flutter sleeves, because I think it still might work if I kind of fiddle around. I think I'd still manage to get it over my head, and it might work. So I might have a fiddle with that, because it would be nice to have something like this with the skirt. Or my other option is with the leftover scrap to make an Ogden cami, because I have made a couple of those, and then that would make it a nice kind of set for the summer. But I didn't get around to making the top, so that's on the list. So sorry, keep looking down. I'm really worried that I'm getting a bit distracted in some of my videos, because I forget what I'm going to say, and then when I finished filming them I thought, oh, I wish I'd said this and I wish I'd said that. So I am going to just keep looking at my notes to hopefully I remember everything I want to say. So the fourth and the final item for my So Frugal challenge was the Libby skirt. So this might have been the second easiest skirt I've ever made, funnily enough. It's by Tessuti Fabrics. It was a free pattern, obviously, because it was for So Frugal. And I made, this is probably the most frugal of all of my challenges as well, because I made it from a leftover piece of curtain that I'd used for a challenge last year, and it's just a bit that I had left over. My one regret is I had enough fabric to make the longer skirt, but I thought I wanted the shorter skirt. So I made the shorter skirt, I'll show you here. But as soon as I put it on, I was like, I think I would have liked it longer. But hey ho, so I will definitely be making that pattern again, probably not with curtains, with some different fabric, and I might make the longer version. But it came together really easy. It was really simple zip. You did have to put the zip in, but the instructions for it were great. talked you through the whole thing, how to get the waistband right, and it just worked. So that was really lovely, and I really enjoyed that. So I just wanted to say a great big thank you. The So Frugal Challenge was a really lovely one. I'm very new to all of this vlogging malarkey, and I haven't done very many challenges before, but I had actually heard of the So Frugal one. So it was an absolute delight to be able to kind of take part in it. And I also won a prize. So I won a voucher. I haven't received it through the post yet. A voucher for Lush fabrics, and for £20. So I'm looking forward to choosing some lovely fabric, and whatever I choose I'll let you know. So yes, so thank you so much to Ruanne from the Yorkshire Sew Girl. Let's try that again. Thank you very much, Ruanne, from the Yorkshire Sew Girl. I don't know why that was so difficult. And from Sam from Frugal Minister. So that was absolutely great. So thank you very much. So plans for April. I'm going to kind of split my plans up for you actually, because I'm not going to give you all of my plans for April in one video, because I've got quite a few things that I want to do, and they're linked to 2 different challenges. So today I'm going to talk about one, and then I'm going to save the other one for another day, because I've already been talking for 16 minutes and I do not want to take any more of your time away unnecessarily. So I'm just going to keep it nice and short and sweet. So Selfless Sew April 23, hashtag I need to get my teeth in today, hashtag Selfless Sew April 23, which is run by Stitch Hem Sew, the lovely Claire, Sew for Serenity, the lovely Adele, and my social thread, the lovely Crystal, who I have actually only just found on YouTube, and I am really enjoying watching her vlogs. I've not watched very many yet, but they are all on my playlist ready to watch. So yes, and again, this is a new challenge on me. I hadn't heard of this one before, but it turns out that actually I do selflessly sew a lot. And I came up, I kind of thought, oh, I'd share with you something that I do every month, but it fits in really well with the selfless sew kind of idea. And so I love it so much, and I do it regularly every month. I'm actually going to do it twice. What is she talking about? So I belong to a swapping group online. It's a Facebook group, and it's called the Great Crafting Swap. And what you do is you sign up. If you just find them on Facebook, and then you go up to the top and you'll follow the link and you sign up on something called Elfster. I'll put it under, and all the details I'll put down below. And if you want to join this month, so if you want your April swap to use for your Selfless Sew April challenge, you need to sign up by no later than the 11th of April. So you've only got a few days. So you need to do that sooner rather than later. And then the theme for this month is Kings and Queens. So the idea is that you sign up, you start your plans for what you're going to make, because you're going to make it for a stranger anyway. So you don't really know this person. So you don't need to think about, you know, what their personal details are or how. You just need to think of something that fits the theme, and that's something that you would like to receive. Because the way that I see it is that if I got it through the post, when I opened it, I thought, wow, that's amazing. Then that's a good thing to gift, because people like amazing things. And actually, people that sew and people that craft appreciate other sewers and other crafters. So you don't need to worry. You know, I worried at the beginning because I was quite a new sewer, and I was thinking, oh, what are they going to think of me with, you know, my little handicrafts? But actually, I love receiving the handmade crafts that have they're sewn and made with so much love. So you don't need to worry about things like that. All you need to do is sign up, and then on the 11th or 12th, the day after the sign up, I think it might be on the 12th, you then get sent who you've got. So you get sent a name and you get sent an address where you send it to. So then you need to really crack on, make something. It can be anything. Now, some people, they decide to put extra gifts and bits and pieces into the pack, you know, like a little chocolate or a little tea bag or a little sewing notion, you know, a little bag of buttons or something like that. Now, obviously, that's lovely, but you don't have to do that. And I feel really strongly that people shouldn't feel that they have to add anything. Just the fact that you've spent your time and you've made something for somebody else is enough. And I think I speak for most people on the group when I say this. So, you know, but that's how I feel. So yeah, so then you just send it, and then you have to send it by an end date. And I think it might be the 23rd of April. But obviously, if you're going to use it for the Selfless Sew April, make sure you take lots of pictures of it before you send it. But then, if that person receives the gift, opens it, and then perhaps puts a picture of it on Facebook, you can then screenshot that and use that as well as part of your Instagram story for the challenge. So yes, so I thought I'd talk about a few ideas of what you could do for kings and queens. Now, when I decided to do this and saw the challenge, I did have to really get my thinking cap on, because normally the themes are quite open. So there are things like spring, summer, winter, you know, colours or something like that. So, but kings and queens is a little bit more specific. So I've kind of gone onto it as not a kind of royal necessarily kings and queens, but just like, who are your kings and who are your queens? I mean, you know, there's lots of queens in my life. You know, I've got some of my best friends are my queens. So it's kind of how you think about it. So it's entirely up to you, kind of what, you know, you can go full on Union Jacks, golden crowns, tiaras, you know, if you want to make that kind of thing, or you can kind of think outside the box. Again, there's no real rules. Just think, whatever you make, would you like to receive it? If you would, then it's probably a good make. So my idea, and this is actually what I'm going to make. So if any of you do sign up, you could end up receiving what I make. So I'm really sorry if I'm spoiling the surprise, but there'll still be some surprises, because I'm not going to show you what I've actually made. I haven't made it yet. I've still got to do it. So I love making the Lunar Lapin and Friends, and they're from the Sarah Peel book. I've got all 4 of her books, and as you can see, I love making these. So I recently made Hamish this one, and I'll put a picture of him up for a swap, and he went down really, really well. So I thought I would make another one, but I would make it in a kingly, princely, princess, queenie fashion. So it will be made, and it will have full on crown. Maybe, I'm not going to go to, you know, but maybe a kind of crown or tiara. Maybe a proper ermine fur kind of robe. Maybe a pretty princess dress, or maybe kind of more kind of like a ceremonial royal uniform. So yeah, that's kind of my idea, because that to me says kings and queens. The other thing that I might do if I get time is I might do a little bit of bunting, because it's always quite nice to do a little bit of scrap bunting. And then I always include a card. I love making cards. I love doing little machine embroidery on cards. So I will do a little kind of royal scene card. So that's basically what I am going to do for the swap. And that will also be my my kind of challenge. Now I'm assuming that if I make a toy, it goes in accessories. So I am hoping that one of you lovely ladies is watching and can tell me whether that does actually qualify as a selfless sew, because I am doing it totally selflessly, and I am sewing, and I'm sewing for someone else. I'm actually sewing for a complete stranger. So that's my first plan. My second plan is, because I'm very much part of the kind of Instagram family, and one of my very close friends, Karen from Two Pink Shadows, we decided that we would quite like to do the challenge together. And so what we are going to do is we are going to do a swap together. So she is going to make something for me that I don't know about, and I am going to make something for her that she doesn't know about. So we're going to do a selfless swap, if you like. So we're still sewing, but we're sewing for each other. So we still haven't finalised what the rules are for each other. But I don't think we're going to go down the garment routes. I mean, obviously we know what is, you know, each other's size are roughly. She watches my videos, so, you know, and I've seen lots of her dresses and lots of her makes, so I could roughly guess. So I could make something that didn't need too much, you know, kind of fitting. But I think what we decided to do is to make things that don't matter too much about the fit. So a couple of things that I've thought of. Again, I'm not going to give any game away because I know Karen's going to be watching this, so she'll, oh, I know what I'm going to get. No longer a surprise. But I thought I'd share with you a couple of things that I have made before and that you could make for something like this. So Tilly and the Buttons do a lovely free slipper boot pattern, and slipper boots are great because as long as you know roughly, you know, what shoe size someone is, and actually if you just go for a large one, they're slippers, so it doesn't really matter too much. And yeah, and they're a nice quick, tend to make with, you can make them with your scraps, so it's a nice kind of quick easy thing to make. Another route to go down is the self-care route. I think if you're making for someone that you don't know, making for a stranger, everybody needs self-care. Everybody needs that time for themselves. So making somebody something like a sleep mask or a little makeup bag with some face wipes in, something like that, something they can use for them to have a little bit of time for themselves is always really nice. And then another thing is, obviously, you know that they're crafters, you know that they like to sew, particularly in, you know, me and Karen know what other crafts that we do. So you could go down the route of something like a bag, a project bag. So perhaps a big, if you all know that they're a knitter, maybe you could do a big project bag. If you know that they're a crocheter, maybe you could do a small drawstring bag for perhaps their, you know, I don't know, a little project. If they're sewers, perhaps you could do a bag that could fit all of their notions in for their sewing socials or something like that they go to. So kind of bags and pouches and stuff fit for that person is always a nice thing. And then if you did want to go down the garment route, but you wanted to kind of make it so one size fits all, then a dressing gown or a robe is quite a good thing, and there are lots and lots of patterns out there for those. So yeah, so that's just a few ideas from me, and then hopefully in a couple of weeks time, when I come back on maybe for another Friday sews, I'll fill you in on what things that I have done. So yes, so that's really it for me today. I am going to come back sooner rather than later because I do have another challenge that I'm going to be taking part in this month that I do want to tell you about. But in the time being, thanks. If you've stayed this long, thank you ever so much for watching. I do really appreciate it, and I will see you all very soon. Bye for now.